living like a stage. Hey, hey, 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 love yourself first, explicitly. You owe it to yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dreams. Living like a stage. Hey, hey. Living like a stage. Hey, hey. Living like a stage. Hey, hey. Living like a stage. Hey, hey.
Hey, y'all. Happy Mindset Monday. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you are new to the channel, I'm your girl, Stae Hall. I am a life coach, L.Y.F.E, Love Yourself First Explicitly, a certified soft skills and emotional intelligence coach, as well as a published author, transformational speaker, a mom, and a maymay, and his wife. And his name is Dr. Wallace Hall. Say what's up, man.
How's everybody doing?
Thank y'all for tuning in. Wow. We have had an awesome weekend. Hope you all did too. Hey, Cece, thank you so much for being here, Cece. Hope everybody had an awesome weekend, but this was our first time since before COVID having 99% of our kids and grandkids under the same roof at the same time. So we were missing one son and one grandmini, and that was it. Hey, J3, thank you for being here. So yes, that was a big deal. Like, it has been years since some of them have seen each other. And so it was so great to see them. So great to see them. And we get to see all of them because we go and visit. And whenever they come here, of course, we're here, but they miss each other. Like, one might be able to come for Christmas, the other one for Thanksgiving, and, you know, different things. So I was in my glory yesterday. I was watching your vlog, didn't get to finish. Y'all was pulled over in the back roads. Oh my gosh. But it was fine. It was fine. Wallace and his defensive driving or whatever. If it was me, y'all would have had to bail me out of jail. They don't never give me a break. They always, yeah. But yeah, we was fine, Cece. We was fine, but I made sure I got it on tape. Hey, Dawn, how are you? Hey. So yeah, I had a great weekend. I was just sitting here just watching all of them. I'm like, I cannot believe everybody is here. And it was just good to get to see them get to see each other. Because like I said, some of them have not seen each other in years. So it was awesome. Did you have fun yesterday?
Yeah, I had a great. I mean, it's been two marvelous weekends that we've had. So yeah, shout out J3, CC. Yeah, but it's been like I say, two marvelous weekends. Yesterday was just really, it was just awesome to have everybody here at the house. And like I say, we hadn't had everybody here at the house in a minute. So that was wonderful just to see everybody together and just, you know, just brought back a few memories of when they was growing up.
Oh my gosh. So, yeah, it did. It brought back some memories. I mean, and we actually like played games out in the yard, racing with the kids. We did some, what's it called? Cornhole, did some Jenga, did some tic-tac-toe, ate good. We did the whole Cinco de Mayo thing. So I did like a nacho bar. So we had the chips and salsa and guac with steak and chicken and ground beef. And then I made the drink boxes. Y'all need to get up on these little drink boxes. You can get these pouches on Amazon. I got 100 of them for less than $20 with the straws. And they are really good just to make your own beverages at home, whether it's a cocktail or, you know, just punch or whatever, but it's just really cool. And this is my thing that I do now when I have gatherings, especially if it's not anything formal. That way you don't have to worry about, you know, mixing drinks or whatever. And then it's good for like kids' lunches, your lunch at work, you know, whatever. I just really love these. And then when I go places, when I'm invited somewhere, instead of just taking a bottle, you know, I just make my little beverage, and they're always a big hit because whether I do margaritas, old fashions, whatever, people are always like, "Oh my gosh, adult drink boxes!" So it's really cute. I love those
nice.
things.
It's adult Capri Sun is what I call them. So.
Yes, an adult Capri Sun.
And something about sticking that straw inside that inside the pouch, people was really really excited about that. So because some people a lot of us had a Capri Sun in a long time, and just think back and remember those when we first started sticking those straws all the way through them or something. But these are a little bit more reinforced, so you can't quite stick it the straw all the way
Yeah, it's
through.
a little harder to poke them in there. But my daughter-in-law, Pam, she is expecting, the baby is due in July, and she was feeling some kind of way. So she was like, I want a drink box too, because she couldn't have the margarita. So we had to get her a drink box and fill it with some fruit punch. And then I think she had some cran pineapple juice, but she didn't want to be completely left out. So we had to make her own.
And then she wanted to volunteer to put the straw in.
Yeah, she likes putting the straws in. Yeah, because she was good. She could get the straws in pretty quick. But yeah, so that's how our weekend went. So it was 2 family-filled weekends. And so with all that being said, that's kind of what made us decide to switch up our topic this week and come on together, because I thought it might be cool to talk about navigating a blended family with grace and love, managing the blended family, because it's something that a lot of people these days have to deal with, but you don't really get a lot of guidance, just like raising kids from scratch. There's no handbook on that, right? Everybody talks about that. And I just think that it's something that Wallace and I really did pretty well off the bat, because again, it was about conversations we had before we were married. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say we were kind of fortunate though, because our main 2 were friends already.
Our main 2? What does that mean?
Kobe and Kylan. They were already friends.
Oh yeah, but they ain't our main 2.
Well, they were the older 2 that were going to be living here.
Well, living together. Yeah, the older ones.
Ian being so much younger, he kind of like just fell into play. He was like, he didn't really have a shot, but those 2.
Yeah, but it made a difference. And so that's what I was going to say. With Wallace and I, we talked about it ahead of time, because there was going to be some difference in dynamics, right? So Jacoby came home, came from a home with 2 sisters. So he had never had brothers before, let alone a little brother. So like we said, him and my middle son, Kylan, they were already friends. They knew each other before we knew each other. However, Wallace was bringing Kobe with him. His daughters were staying with their mom, but Kobe moved into the house with us. And it was Jacoby's first time, first of all, being in a house where he wasn't the youngest, because he was the youngest at home with his sisters, and he was the only boy. And so I think that was the biggest hurdle that we had, was getting Kobe and Nunny Butters to not butt heads, because Nunny was used to being the youngest, just like Kobe was. And he was spoiled by his brothers, just like Kobe was spoiled by his sisters. Still. And so, yeah, those 2 butted heads the most, even though they were like 6 years apart in age. They still, that competition to be the youngest and to be the one who was in charge. Like the boys who were already friends, they didn't have issues at all, because they were already friends. Hey, Deborah, how are you? And so what Wallace and I kind of decided, oh, hey, brother Fred. Hey, Mara. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate you. Yes. I appreciate you. Y'all know Facebook and YouTube don't always play nice together. So sometimes I don't see the comments and people drop in on Facebook as quick as I do on YouTube. So you can feel free to stay on Facebook, or you can jump over to YouTube. But what we kind of decided was to just kind of let them figure it out.
Yeah, for the most part, you have that conversation, you communicate a little bit, but for the most part, you let them kind of figure it out on their own. Big brother, little brother, that whole dynamic there, and it worked out great, because now they're pretty much inserted. In fact, they're together right now.
Yeah, they're together right now, the 2 of them out playing basketball. It didn't take long. It was like
plus
maybe
there was a love for basketball anyway, so they kind of united them too. So.
They had that in common, but that also caused some issues too, because Ian, being the youngest of my 3 biological, he was used to brothers who, they didn't always play him quite as hard. They let him win a lot. They would let him lose too, but they babied him. So then Kobe came into the mix again with that same youngest mentality, and he was not letting Nunny win. He was, dealing with him just like anybody else. And Nunny,
he would let him win, but Nunny want to talk all that trash.
That's what I'm going to say. Nunny is a big trash talker, and he also likes to bet all the time. And so it was crazy. He always wanted to bet Kobe and his friends. Yeah, there was one time where he lost all his tennis shoes to one of Jacoby's friends, which was crazy, but he ended up giving them back. But it's crazy. Funny, y'all, on this subject, I was talking to my 25-year-old about when I get married, she would have to have a stepfather. She said, no, he would just be my mom's man. No, and it depends too. And that's another thing. The age depends a lot because the girls were a little older. And so the transition with them wasn't the same because they were with their mom. They never lived in a household with all of us, and they were a little bit older. And so we have our own relationship, but I never had to be like in charge of their discipline. They never had to get acclimated to living in the house. You know, we had the boys and she had the girls. And so it was just a little bit different. And when they're older, the parenting's different. And so all of Wallace's kids are older than Nunny. And then I have 2 older sons. So Nunny was like 8 or 9 when we got together. And so he was the only one who was still literally a little kid. And so we raised him together. The other ones were already, you know, kind of more at the maintenance age. They were older teenagers and whatever. But the parenting looks different. Like I don't get involved. And that's the thing. You have to kind of know your place. And you have to know the dynamic of the kid's relationship with their other parent that you're not with, and be respectful of that relationship. Like I never stepped into this marriage, this relationship, this blended family trying to be everybody's mom. I knew 3 for sure who I was their mom, and that's how it was going to be. But I let the kids dictate the relationship past that. And again, it was different with Jacoby because he lived with us and he's a boy and I already knew him, but I never forced myself like, you know, there's a new sheriff in town type of thing, you know?
Hey, Tim.
Oh, hey, Tim. Hey, thank you for being here. But yeah, I let the girls know and Jacoby know I was here for them, that I loved them. I loved their dad. I was here to support them, but I always recognized that they still had 2 parents. Like the fact that Wallace was divorced from their mom or whatever, never in a million years did I think, nor would I want for that to mean that he's no longer active in his kids' lives, that he can no longer talk to their mom to discuss things as it pertained to the kids. I wanted him to have an active and healthy co-parenting relationship with his ex-wife because that's what's best for the kids. And so I never felt like, you know, oh, well, you don't need to be talking to her or what is she calling you for? And, you know, that kind of stuff. And, you know, and vice versa. He was never that way with me and my kids' dad either. It's just you want to be able to be okay with the healthy parenting dynamic. And like I said, it's even more important when the kids are older because they might not really want any parts of a bonus parent or a step parent, like, you know, Cece's daughter was saying. And you have to be okay with that. I just know that some people come into the relationship like, well, they need to listen to me and they need to whatever. Well, they wouldn't listen to you before, like you just came in. Let their parents parent them. That's just my opinion, unless the relationship builds with the kids where everybody feels comfortable. Because if you start discipline and respect and discipline are 2 different things in my mind. As long as the kids respect me, I will respect them. That still doesn't mean that I have to discipline them. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Well, it depends on a lot. It has to do with age.
Hey, Tamika.
It has to do with the age of the child also. So that's a big part of that. Determining how you discipline a child, how you do that, because someone coming in with a child that's, you know, 6, 7 years old, 8, 9 years old, coming to a relationship, you know, it's going to be, I expect discipline there because, you know, got to be treated the same. That's why the parents got to have those conversations to make sure everybody's respectful of each other and understanding, like say, you know, put it like this. While your child is at my house, your child is my child because you're going to hold me wholly responsible for anything bad that happens to that child. And I feel the same way when my child is at your house. You're going to be wholly responsible for everything. So it shouldn't matter. I hate when I've seen people get petty around. So I don't be disciplining my child. That's not true. That's hindering the child. You think you're doing something, think you're running something, and you're not. You're not really doing what's best for that child. That child needs to learn respect on both sides and everybody that's in charge of them and looking out for them. And you can't hinder people like that. Right.
And you also have to have a certain level of respect for your ex and a certain level of trust, if at all possible. Now, I know some people are divorced because of horrific issues where all trust has been lost and maybe you don't even trust them with your kids. There's always, that situation where it's an exception. But if you divorce based on strictly adult issues, irreconcilable differences, or even if it was because of infidelity or whatever, but if the reason you divorced had nothing to do with the treatment of the children, then you should also be able to trust that that ex, that other partner, that parent still has the best interest of their kids at heart, and be able to trust that whatever decision they make into who they're bringing into the kid's life, that you can trust that person as well based off of the strength of your ex. Like, getting divorced and your relationship falling apart still does not make that person a horrible parent. It doesn't make them somebody who is, like the worst person in the world. You have to be able to separate the romantic relationship between the two of you and the parental relationship between the two of you, as well as the relationship between the children and their other spouse. Because some people just right off the bat, no, you ain't going to have my kids around that person. You ain't going to be having your woman, and automatically whatever woman or man is a trashy person. They a B, they a this, they a that, just because we're angry. But that's not healthy. It's also really good to try to get to know and build a relationship with the person who's now in their life, somewhat, especially if it's gotten to the point where they're going to be married. You want to get to meet that person and know them for yourself, at least on a surface cordial level, and use that discernment and get that feeling for that person and not just judge them because you're bitter about the breakup. What if my man was in the kid's life when they were little, but now they are grown and he still wants to be involved in their life decisions?
That's them. That's their relationship, do they want him involved in a relationship? Do they respect, do they seek him out for counsel or for wisdom, to share knowledge or anything like that? So it's more or less based on their relationships down there, CC. So it's just, kind of how things go. And there's nothing wrong with that, but like I say, it's going to be more or less driven by them. And if he wants it, and they can make that connection, then hey, it's all to the good.
Yeah, and to me, I truly believe in the fact that it takes a village. There can't be too many people to love my kids. I don't know everything. I can't be everywhere. Sometimes your kids just don't feel comfortable talking to you with certain things because you are their biological parent. And especially sometimes they don't feel comfortable talking about things with their moms. So to me, I just believe that it takes a village, and the more people to love on my kids and to look out for my kids and give my kids sound advice, the better I feel, because I know I don't know everything. I know my kids aren't telling me everything. And so that's what I appreciate about not only having Wallace, but having a tribe of people. Like, my kids have several people they can reach out to, whether it is, other family members, they have their aunts, they have their godmother, and I appreciate that. I do. Let's see, what did Tim say? I surely don't trust neither of my two ex-wives. Kids don't even talk to their mother anymore. She abused them so bad when we were separated. And see, and that's what I mean. You have those situations where, like, throw everything we're saying out the window, and you have to do what's best for your kids. But I'm talking about, and I'm so sorry to hear that, Tim, as well. That's a horrible situation. But I'm talking about those people where, you got divorced because you just didn't get along anymore. Or maybe, somebody, there was infidelity or whatever. But when it was not straight up abuse, it's like, you need to get past your stuff, your feelings for that person, and still be able to respect them as a parent. Lisa, you been knowing. I'm not even getting into that with y'all. He is not my man. That's a personal side note stuff. Y'all are hilarious. But and I like what you said about the age of the children. Like, Nunny is the only one, like I said, that we really raised together. He was young, still in elementary school when we got him, when we got married. And so we've made more decisions on Nunny together than any of the other kids. We've dealt with more stuff with Nunny. Like I said, he was still in elementary school, and we've had to discipline him more together. And so another thing with that comes as well is when you're in a blended family, even though in a perfect world, we would all get married once, have children with one person, and we'd be on the same page. But that's not the world that we live in. We don't live in a perfect world. And so one thing that happened with us too is being able to see different parenting styles, because we didn't start parenting together from scratch. So there were certain things, of course, in our past relationships that both people kind of did the same, because we started down this road together. But when you're have the unfortunate circumstance to be divorced, it could still be a blessing in disguise, because I learned a lot from him as a parent, and he's learned things from me as a parent. Wallace is more of a strict disciplinarian, where I'm more of an empathetic type of person. Let's talk it out, figure it out. But the mashup works, right? Because sometimes both things are required. But where I learned to be a little more strict, he's learned to be a little softer in certain areas and listen more. And so it's also something, you don't want to pass up that opportunity for growth and learning for your children by just saying, well, I'm just going to deal with my kids and you just deal with your kids, because that is almost impossible when you're living under the same roof. Yeah. Let me see. My oldest and him were not close, but my youngest is cool with him. Yeah. And if they have a good relationship, then I think that that's fine. I really do. I think it's great, actually. Hey, Dennis, how are you? Glad to see you here. My husband was divorced 10 years before we met, and his ex-wife to this day don't like me and never met me. What?
Yeah, that's people being
oh
petty,
my
though.
Gosh. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Wallace is very strict, CC.
I'm not strict. I'm just to the point.
Oh, I wish one of the kids was here. He is very strict, very strict. See, I told you I got so many stories. I could probably write 2 books, and you need to. And I'll help you get it published. He had a daughter and I have a son. They were both young adults when we met. Well, at least they were young adults, because that would really be terrible if they were little kids. But no, Wallace is very strict. And I can't even say strict, because he's not. I guess I'm more strict than Wallace as far as rules. And I don't, didn't like them going out and doing stuff. Wallace would let them do just about anything. However, he's more of a disciplinarian. If they did do something to break a rule, or if we got a call from school or whatever.
It's called accountability and consequences, and I'm going to let you do whatever you need to do, or what you want to do within reason. But you do understand there's going to be accountability and consequences. And when you make decisions, everything's going to be based around that. So, and plus, if you're living under my roof and I'm contributing money to your lifestyle that you're living, I have the right to ask you whatever I need to ask you, or, that's just the way it is. So, be prepared. So I think putting that in them made them.
No, don't kid. That's true, Tim.
I think instilling that in them for his accountability, consequence, things like that has helped them grow and be the young adults that they are now.
It has helped them, but they also have appreciated the fact that I've been willing to sit down and talk to them and understand what their mindset was and the reason why they made certain decisions. They appreciated a conversation every once in a while. And like I said, if one of them happened to come home before we get off the live, we'll have their opinions on it, because they know he is a strict disciplinarian. But again, I realized how both were needed. Like, I just, it's funny for me with real little kids, like to about 10 years old, I'm really good at that. Like, I'm really good at, keeping kids in line, making them stick to doing their chores and whatever. But I think once they get to be a certain age, they just kind of blew my mind. I thought, like, I have invested 10 years in teaching you what you're supposed to do. Like, why are you still crazy? And Wallace is better with the older kids, because it would just have me so overwhelmed, because I'm like, what is wrong with these people? Why are they still acting like they have lost their minds when I have been telling them the same thing for 10 years? Hey, Nikki, thank you so much for being here. Yeah. Oh, let me see. Wallace, would it be the same if they were girls? Well, he is the same. Go ahead. I'm going to let you answer. But no. Yeah, let me him answer and see if he tell the truth.
My girls, I have a little different approach with them, but it's still about accountability and consequences. That's what it boils down to everybody for the end of the day. Be prepared for the decisions that you make. understand there are going to be consequences, some good, some bad. So, we talk about in business, risk reward. Is the reward really worth the risk? So let's talk about that. So yeah, I don't, it's just the way I was brought up. And I think my parents did a pretty good job with me. So of course, that's the way I'm going to bring my kids up under the same deal, because in life, that's just what it is. You got to be willing to take responsibility for the actions that you take.
Now, here's the truth. Wallace is the same with the girls, but not. His approach with them is a lot different. His tone is a lot different with them, and he is a lot more, no. It's okay. I understand.
I got a little different approach.
Just
so it's
don't
a little
let
softer
it happen
with my girls,
again.
Yeah.
But the boys, it's like with the girls, he always leads with the good. The boys, it's always leads with the bad.
Yeah, I don't have time with them for that.
With everything. It's just like, even when they're playing sports, they could have won the game and had 20 points. And when they come off the court, he going to be like, that one layup over there, you did not use your knees at all. It's like, can you just say, good job, son?
That's what she here
Glad
for.
for the
win.
win. What I'm here for. No, he leads with the bad. With the girls, it's just like, no matter what, he's going to lead with the good. Oh, that was great. Or it's not a big deal. Everybody makes mistakes, but next time. So no, it is different, CC.
Well, you got to have a different approach with him.
Wallace just face a good men are strict, keep the family going. Ask me how I know.
I know you know J3.
He is a mess. He's a mess. You and J3 both. Hey, Nikki. Putting you on the spot. No, you ain't putting him on the spot, Tim.
This is who I am all day, Tim. I don't mind telling it.
We talk about him all the time, me and the kids. And the boys, again, maybe we're going to have to do a family live. Yes, daddy's girls for sure. We might have, and he's the same with the granddaughters compared to the grandson. Like my juicy baby gets cut no slack at all. The little girls, they be the ones around here hollering and screaming and tearing stuff up. He just sitting here grinning from ear to ear, just watching the little girls have a good time. My juicy baby, he constantly, why are you making so much noise? Quit running in the house. You ain't supposed to be bouncing that ball in the house. Yeah, Wallace don't play at all. Like I said, but when it comes to the girls, it is a little different. Just to let y'all know, I love the kids, but sometimes, yes, I'm down with the FTK too. Sometimes I am. And especially the older they get, oh my gosh, the older they get, the more of that I feel, because they are a mess. He played the fifth. Yeah, they are a mess the older they get. And the thing is, it is nice having a blended family and having a family that, everybody gets along. Like, I love the fact that it's truly, 6 siblings, they're good. We have never used like step kids and that kind of stuff, or that ain't your daddy, that ain't your mama. Like, we've never done that. And so with the kids, if you ask Nunny how many siblings he has, he's going to say, I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. Like, he's not going to do that. And when we've been out with one of the kids or whatever, that might not be our biological. Like, I used to have to take Kobe to his basketball practice or games sometimes, and Nunny with Wallace with Nunny with that. And if somebody says, oh, your mom or your dad, they're never going to say, oh, well, that's my stepmom or that's my stepdad. We've never done that. Like, we've always preached unity, family, team hall. We've never done any of that type of division at all.
See, I'm not a complex man. She makes me complex sometimes. I'm pretty simple, straightforward. My thing is like this with kids. And that's why I say I don't believe in things step, because once you're under my roof, you are mine. And like I said just earlier, I'm responsible for you. And when I was a youth pastor at church, when kids want to come over my house and something like that, I would tell all the parents, just to let y'all know, when your child comes to my house, you might as well change their last name to Hall, because while they're at my house, they're going to be treated just like my kids. They're not, no difference, no nothing. Trust me, they get out of line, I'm probably 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to call you. I'm just going to go handle it. And then when I turn them back over to you, I will tell you what happened. So that's just how I am. I probably had 50, 60 kids come through my house. Never had one parent not send their kid over there. Most parents like, take them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then tell them, you better act right. Pastor Hall ain't gonna play that. So, like I said, I never had a parent tell me, no, don't diss my child. Even when I was coaching basketball, I coached AAU basketball for 17 years. I had parents in the very beginning telling me I was too soft on their kids. Treat them like they're yours. Treat them like you're yours. And I started doing that and never had anybody else say anything not to, because I just believe in treating them like they're mine. So of course, when you're living under my roof and now we're together because of marriage and this relationship here, you're mine. So what step about it? Nothing. The only steps around here, the steps on the front porch to help get us up to where we're trying to go or get us to upstairs,
Yeah. And that's something, like I said, but I talk about the conversations all the time. And I think this is a conversation that some people might not even think about when you're dating, but it's definitely
both CC.
Oh, no, that's okay.
Yeah, we had an organization for 17 years. We coached both. We were with Texas Express, then Texas Express, Team Titans, and also the Rough Riders.
Yeah. Yeah, he loves basketball.
All ages.
All the boys play basketball. My grandson is not too interested in basketball, but he's only 8, so you'll never know. He plays soccer now.
Yeah, soccer's his thing.
But he's not too interested. But all the boys are kind of upset that he's not showing an interest in basketball yet. But I'm like, he's still young. But they all have been playing since they were 5. So they feel like he's late to the party, but it's just not his thing yet. But what I was going to say is this is another one of those conversations that I think people maybe don't even really think about during dating, or maybe they're hesitant to bring it up. But you want to have those conversations about what your role as a bonus parent looks like to you, or what type of relationship do you plan on having with my child? What is discipline for you? What does discipline look like? Because there's some people who believe in the timeout. There's some people who still believe in corporal punishment. There's some people who just believe in taking things away. There's some people who do a combo. We combo folks over here. But some people are dead set against other things. And so that makes a difference. And again, the younger the children, the more important it is to have those conversations. But also when you're seasoned people like us, when you have a blended family, you also have to think about when grandchildren come into play, because that was a huge difference for us as well. Once there start being grandchildren, now there's several different grandparents into play. And now we're all in these kids' lives from day one. And, so those are the kind of things too, with a blended family, it never stops. Like the family is going to continue to grow, and you don't want to miss out on having certain conversations and things falling apart early on that will then make you end up having to miss out possibly on your grandchildren because those bonds with the parents weren't made, and miss out on, being involved in all of that. And so with us, we had things already in place, and I already had relationships, because it's only Wallace's biological children that have kids right now. And so I love the fact that I already had the relationships with their parents. I was already had my place in the family, that when the grandchildren came, there was no doubt that I was going to be in those kids' lives, and I was going to be keeping those kids and loving on those kids. And those kids were going to look at me as just another grandparent. I'm not Pawpaw's wife. I'm Maymay. And they know that, and they don't know any different. Like they don't know where Maymay came from and why I got this grandma here, whatever. It doesn't matter to them. They just have grandparents. But if you don't set that foundation in the beginning, you can miss out on that. And it's just such a blessing to be able to have the family as one unit, and not, oh, I'm going over here to do this with my kids and grandkids, and you're going over here. Like, we welcome everybody, and including the parents. Like their mom is more than welcome to come here and participate in us with stuff with the kids and all that stuff, and, do different things together. Everything doesn't have to be separated. Okay, cool. My girl was in AAU with Moochie Norris from the Rockets. We had games in Dallas too. Sorry, stay for off. No, don't. You know how we do over here.
CC, I know that team. We I think because we did tournaments down in Houston. We did tournaments that we played Houston teams in San Antonio, Austin, and in Dallas. So yeah, I know that team. So we probably, there's a good chance we crossed paths, because we had an AAU organization that had 5th graders all the way up through high schoolers, and then we had a unsigned varsity team. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we crossed paths somewhere in there.
All right, y'all, I had to get up. We had our Cinco de Mayo here yesterday. And like I said, I made the nacho bar. And so Wallace and I were just doing some leftovers today. And I turned on the crock pot to warm up the queso from yesterday, and I start smelling something. Were you smelling something? And I'm like, what is that? Yeah, I'm burning up the queso. I don't know what's up with me on these lives and burning up stuff.
Did you put a bag in there?
No, I forgot this time. Oh, there weren't any bags.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there weren't any bags.
Some.
Yeah, those crock pot bags. She said, cool, I hope we beat y'all. Those crock pot bags are game changers. But yeah, I'm going to have melted cheese, burnt cheese to scrub off of that one. But we good. But yeah, those conversations are really important. And the other thing is making sure that when you do have the blended family, having those family meetings. That's something that, of course, we rarely ever do, if at all now. But when we had the boys in the house, they had to acclimate to each other and living together. And like Nunny had to give up his room when Jacoby moved in because Nunny was younger. Jacoby was older. I felt like he needed a bigger room, more privacy. My other son had an equivalent room. Him and Jacoby were the same age. And I didn't want Jacoby to feel unwelcomed here. I didn't want him to feel like he wasn't being treated fairly. So I felt like he needed to have the same amount of room and space as the other teenager in the house. Because I think they were like 15 when we got married. And so I figured, yeah, Nunny, you're the youngest one. And if your oldest brother was still living in the house, you wouldn't have never had that room. But he was already, gone on his own. But Nunny had a big problem with that. His thing was, Jacoby's moving and now I'm getting put out of my room and whatever. But we would have family meetings to discuss stuff like this. This is about being fair, and we're going to be fair to everybody. Because Wallace, when he divorced, he moved into an apartment. I lived in a house when we were together. I was leasing a house at the time. And it only made sense for us to move into my house, or my leased house, it wasn't mine, until we built our home together. So Wallace and Jacoby left the apartment and moved into the house. But I was not going to make them feel like guests. I didn't want Jacoby to feel like a guest. I didn't want him to feel like it was anything temporary. So we sat them down and had meetings about things like that. Like, these are going to be the changes. Nunny still had his little attitude and would still make comments to Jacoby. I got kicked out of my room because of you, or whatever. And we just let them work it out. And whenever that would happen, I would always correct him. But hey, Wellness, how are you? Hey, Crooked Peach, thank y'all for being here. But we always made sure that we would include them when we were making decisions. We would hear them out, and we would make sure that we were explaining things, because things were going to be done a little bit differently now that we were blended. Some rules might be a little bit different because we had to adopt some of Wallace and Jacoby's ways of doing things, and then they had to adopt some of our ways of doing things. But everything that we did, we had to make sure that everybody was aware that it was for everybody's own good. And it's not that anybody's, because I didn't want to correct Jacoby on a certain thing or give him a certain rule and him feel like I was just treating him differently, when that's what I was doing with my kids anyway. But he might feel differently because that's not what his dad normally did. So it was really important to us to present a united front as the parents and the adults to the house to all three kids. So y'all would know that even though you still have your biological mom, your biological dad out there, we're the parents of the household. But another great thing too was having the buy-in from those other parents as well, saying, hey, we all on the same page.
Yeah, that kind of alludes to a little, kind of show you a little bit how, I think we shared this story before about
Sharita,
how we would ask kids, when they were going places, I'll just ask them where they're going. They just tell me, and then they roll out. Stae's the one that want to go outside and meet who's driving and all of that kind of stuff. And what time you going, what time you coming back, what time you're supposed to be there, and all of that. So yeah, that was a difference in style.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things were different with us, but we were able to, like I said, mash it up, and then having that united front, because that was another thing too. There was no calling the other parent, like Nunny being able to call his biological dad and complain about Wallace. Like, that was where we took it even a step further, because his dad is going to say, well, if that's what Mr. Wallace said, then that's what you need to do. Nobody is going to disrespect the household, because we all had that, even though we might not be the best of friends, just that mutual respect and trust for one another. Because what you also have to remember is that same kid is going to be at your house sometimes too, and you're not going to want to deal with that mess either. So It was that, nobody can be calling the other parents behind your back. We all are going to communicate. Everybody's saying the same thing, because another thing that can happen is when you have these blended families and these kids have these other parents that they can go to outside of the house. If you don't make it clear to them that you're all on the same page, those kids can manipulate the heck out of that situation.
They will.
And so it's really important, even as parents, to have those conversations, because those kids will manipulate, they will lie, they will say, well, this parent said I could do this, or they said I couldn't do that, or they already know about this, or they don't know about that. And it will have you in turmoil all the time. And so it's just best to make the relationships work.
Yeah, we're definitely not about chaos around here.
No, not at all. I remember when I moved in with my dad and stepmom at 18, I was given the couch and a closet for my suitcase, while my 6-year-old stepsister had her own room, queen size bed. Wasn't a good environment. No, yeah, I hate that, CC. And we were going to make sure that we didn't do that. The older kids usually have the bigger, they usually have more. And what we always explain to the younger kids too, even when I just had my 3, your time is coming. Eventually, like there was a time where Nunny was the only kid here for a couple of years. So he had the whole upstairs to himself. So your time is coming, but I definitely believe that, the older kids just need more space. They need more privacy. And I also think that it's a way, I believe that the kids need to respect each other as well. Like there is a certain hierarchy in that. It's like, yeah, listen to your older brother. I always would teach my younger sons that, listen to the one above you, because that same trust. I raised this child a certain way. I trust their judgment. They've already been that age before. You listen to your brother, you pay attention to your brother, because I feel like respect is across the board. We all need to respect each other. And I always would, just talk about that. Your time is coming. When you get to be that age, then you'll have certain things and certain privileges, but it's not always going to be an equal playing field, because age and maturity plays a difference. I had to share a room with my stepmom's dad. Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. Now, I can't imagine that was a comfortable situation at all, Peach. Wow. Yeah, my stepbrother had a huge room, and me and my brother and sister was in a little closet-sized room. See, no, we wasn't doing that at all. And that's the kind of thing that can cause undue animosity. Yeah. It's the kind of thing that can pit the children against each other. Without even being intentional about that, and realizing that affects how they blame the kids for decisions that the parents made.
I'm just curious if, just asking, do any of y'all have relationships with your siblings, your step siblings or anything like that still? How are those relationships?
Yeah, that is a good one, because that's the thing. Sometimes, once you're out of the house and you no longer even have those relationships. And we just didn't want that to happen, because families are getting smaller and smaller these days. And we wanted all of our kids to be able to have, cousins and know their cousins and play with their cousins and, have each other, because even between the two of us, that's only 6 kids. Back in the day, 6 kids was the norm for most households. My grandmother had 12 children. Your grandmother had 12 kids too. One of your grandmothers, didn't she? And so it's like 6, that's not a lot. And so it's like, we want them to be friends. We want them to be siblings, and we want their kids not to even know the difference. That's just our family. Did you already read this? Frugal Mama, Crooked Piece. Oh, phone call. Oh, okay. No, I tried, but we just didn't. Wow, that's unfortunate. And that's why I think it's the parents' role. The parents have to be one beginning.
The parents have to be the ones to steer those relationships. That's just kind of the way that has to go, and not necessarily have to force it, but I say steer it.
Oh, wow. Yeah. See, and there's no reason for that, because again, I believe it takes a village. Like, how is there any such thing as too much love? I just don't understand. I didn't grow up in a step type of family at all. By the time my mother remarried, I was grown with my own kids, but I loved my stepdad. It just was, I never lived with him, and his kids were way younger than me. And so I just never experienced that at all, except for the fact that I had a great relationship with him. And again, me not having a relationship with his kids was just because they were kids. His kids were still teenagers and I was grown and, married with kids. But I just feel like when we did this, which this is my first time ever being involved in a situation like this, it was just, we were so intentional. And again, I never say these things to y'all for y'all to think that, oh, Wallace and I have a perfect marriage. We're perfect parents. We're whatever. No, we both come from failed marriages. That's how we got together. And so it just made us this time just very intentional about having conversations, planning things out about what we wanted to do to not let that happen to our families again. So that's what made us so successful, is just not wanting to fail again. So I always want to put that out there.
And before me, there was blended families. So in my I have several stepbrothers. You want to say, quote, step brothers and sisters or half brothers, however you want it. Well, even some half brothers and sisters out there. So I'm from that side, from my mom's side, my dad's side. So yeah, I've been products of those relationships. So coming into this relationship, it just knowing how to steer through them. And I still have a relationship with all my step siblings. So
now Wallace is so funny that sometimes he has to actually think which ones are his biological and which are not. Like, that's how close they are. And there's so many of them. And he sometimes be like, oh no, I don't think yet. He'll forget because they all grew up together.
Yeah, at certain point, certain time, it's one of this where you say, I can't remember when I didn't know them, So we were brought up, my dad and my mom and all, we were brought up where we don't call each other step. That's your brother, that's your sister. You gonna fight to the death for them, just like they're gonna fight for the death with you. And nobody better not say nothing to you. If they got into a fight and you ran away, you gonna have a fight when you get home. So, and that's just the way we were raised together. And like I said, I don't know. Like I said, they
share cousins, everything.
Yeah, we share cousins.
Their family is just a match.
It's so intertwined when we get to talking. So they're like, oh, wait a minute, that is your mom, or yeah, that is okay.
Right.
So yeah.
So Wellness said they're still kind of cool. Her and her step brothers, her brother, but he'll stop by. They don't talk a lot, but that's good. That's better than not talking at all. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I can say now my parents were not equipped to raise children. And that's the thing. Some people just aren't. And it's unfortunate that, hey, Chris, how are you? Good to see you here. But it's, unfortunate. Everybody's not equipped to have children. They're not. And I can say, like, in the very beginning, I didn't have all the skills and tools I needed to be the type of parent I wanted to be, but it was something that I was aware of. So before I had my first son, I prayed about it. I started equipping myself and I knew, but some people just aren't even aware, but it's about the intentionality. So I was intentional from the time I knew I was having a child about doing everything I needed to do to be the best mom possible. It just like we were intentional when we got into this relationship of not repeating any negativity into this relationship and just making sure we talked about everything. My dad and I were close. We worked on cars together. Even now, when I go over to work on my vehicle, she rolls her eyes at me and she's in her 70s. See, that's some pettiness and bitterness. And it sounds like jealousy, which is so crazy.
You need to just go up and give her a big hug and a kiss and see what she do.
Oh my goodness, been divorced for 14 years, but my stepdaughter is my daughter. We are very close. See, that's the kind of stuff I love to hear. That's what I love to hear.
Finding ways to work through it.
And we've talked about that before. Like, we know that if anything were to happen between the two of us, we would still have relationships with the other kids and the grandkids, just as much as, if one of us were to pass away, that doesn't mean that we're going to lose that whole part of the family. It's like we're a family. And that's what just blessed my heart so much yesterday, that even though they're all grown and the grandkids and everything, just seeing how they are still very much a family.
Yeah. CC laughing. Yeah, CC, go give a hug and a kiss.
Yeah, that jealousy that's something else. How are you going to be jealous of somebody's relationship with their parent? But it happens. And there are some people who, once they marry that person, they want them to forget, like the thing Brian McKnight is going through now. He just has completely disowned his original children and started these new family. Like, I don't see how this new spouse, a wife or a husband, I don't want to have any parts of you if you're not taking care of your kids. But some people would be completely fine if you would just turn your back on your kids. And I'm not like that. I'm so grateful for my half brothers. They showed out a little when my dad passed, but when they lost their mom, we got closer. I was a product of an affair. So imagine how hard that had to be on them. Yeah. And it can be. And I get that wellness. However, I don't know. I know several people who have that situation and they get so mad at the child and they don't want a relationship, but that's still your sibling. And it wasn't their fault that they were brought into the world the way they are. So I can get the initial emotion and maybe, like you said, immaturity of it. But I have several people who still in their 50s and 60s who have children who were a product of their mom or dad having an affair. You know, usually the dad, if it's the mom, the child will probably be in the house. But you know what I mean? And they still don't want anything to have to do with that kid like it was their fault. But thankful that wellness that y'all are close now and y'all are better. So yeah, like I say, it comes growth and maturity come along, you know, so that's good. Oh, I hate that, Chris. I hope that there is a path forward and y'all can someday reconcile, because I understand that some people can't function if they aren't the center of attention. That's true. Yep. So true. So true. Yeah. That can happen. But yeah, it's like you have to let the jealousy go. And I hate when people try to make other people, especially kids, pay for the mistakes of adults. It's just like, again, how there's no such thing as too much love. Like for me, if I found out that my dad had a child, like that's him and my mom's issue. And I would feel like, dang, that's messed up. But at the same time, I would be looking forward to meeting my new sibling and having that relationship, because it don't have nothing to do with me. But I think sometimes what happens in that, you know, the mom that's getting cheated on and situations happen like that, you know, the hurt and the pain, sometimes that gets passed on to the child. Yeah, because so people don't want to see that. Yeah, a lot of times people are really close with their moms and they hate to see their moms hurt. You know, and it's difficult. Like, I don't know if y'all saw the movie Fences. That was a different type of situation. And that mother, the one that he had the affair with, she ended up passing away in childbirth. And that lady raised the child as her own and brought her into the house. But, you know, her son was upset about it though, but she just did what she felt like she needed to do. And I'm not saying to go to that lengths, but it's like the kids, your siblings. And that's another thing. We don't believe in half and all that stuff. Like that's technically what it is, but your sibling is your sibling. Because like they boils down to, it's not the child's fault. It's not the child's fault. So, you know, it shouldn't be, they shouldn't be held liable for anything that happened like that, because that was the adults made that decision, not the child. Yep. And generational curses are real. I definitely believe that. But all it takes at the same time is for one person to say no more, and they can change the trajectory of the future for that family. The trajectory. Really? But they can change the trajectory of the family moving forward. And it does. It just takes one person. And sometimes people are a little resistant. They don't even want to believe that, you know, you've had those cycles, you know, even if you don't believe in a curse or whatever, it's the generational cycles, whatever it is, perpetuating the same mistakes over and over again. However you want to look at it. I know, right? I'm trying to show that I read a book or two, but it ain't coming out too good. And of course, you got somebody who always gonna call you out on it. Couldn't let me make it. But it just changes one person. And sometimes there's some resistance in the beginning because people don't even want to admit that there's a problem. But you have to teach by example and just start doing things differently and moving in a different way. Because people deal with stuff. Like I could see a situation of a mom who got into a situation with stepkids and it didn't work. And, you know, she didn't get along with the ex-wife and whatever. And now here you are marrying a man with kids and you're accepting those kids and loving on the kids. And the mom like, I don't know what you're doing that for. Those ain't your kids, you know, whatever, and try to make you feel bad. But you have to keep going and keep doing it despite what anybody says, because again, it's that hurt that's making them act that way, and they don't want you to be able to do it and navigate it successfully because they weren't able to do it and navigate it successfully, and they feel like just because they couldn't, you're not going to be able to do it. Or maybe they're trying to protect you from hurt. But whatever it is, when you know it's the right thing to do, you have to move forward and do that no matter what anybody else is saying. A lot of people don't know that it's an option to change. Exactly. They're doing the same thing because that's what they've always done. And that's what they saw their mama do. And that's what they saw their mama do. So they just keep doing it because that's all they know. My brother's wife is mean. When my brother's around her, he's a jerk. Oh, I think I remember you. I'm talking about that before. This one.
Yeah. What I say on that though, I think people do know there's an option. And the reason I say that is because we all talk about this a lot. You treat people how you want to be treated. And when people look at the way they treat other people, they say, oh, I just treat them that way. But you wouldn't want to be treated that way. So I think a lot of people do, but they just feel like this is what I've been doing, so I don't want to change.
Yeah, I can see that too. Some people get comfortable in their chaos.
Yeah,
they do. That's true. Yeah, I hate that for you, Chris. That's horrible. That's horrible. And I know it's like, people, your spouse should always be your number one. Absolutely. And that's a different show for a different day, but your spouse, even before your children. However, you should never be okay with someone who is good with you treating someone else poorly. If Wallace wasn't close to his kids, would you still reach out to them? I wouldn't reach out to Wallace if he wasn't close to his kids, you know what I mean? Unless there was like a reason that I understood. But if he wasn't close to his kids just by his choice, I wouldn't be okay with that, because I do believe that the relationship, the onus is on the parent, because you brought that child into this world. Now, if you're in a situation like mine, which I've shared a little bit with y'all, and my oldest son won't allow me to reach out to him. He ignores me, whatever. And so I had to get to a point where, for my own sanity, I had to just let that go and put it in God's hands and just, pray and hope for the best. But if you still have an open door in any way, shape, or form to deal with your kids, then I'm going to put that onus on the parent. And so I would only be good with him if he had as good as possible of a relationship with his kids. And if anything ever happened between him and his kids, then I would feel it would be my place to try to help and navigate that reconciliation as best as I could, and which he has tried to do for me in my situation. Wallace has reached out to my son before. And so, like I said, there's not a hard and fast rule to anything. There's always those, things that are a little bit different. But for the most part, yeah, I believe it's on the parent. Mean, angry people or frightened people. Yep, that is true. That is so true. Yeah, like they say, some of those cliches that sound corny are true. Hurt people hurt people. However, something that I've learned on my life's journey and in my research and studies to become a life coach is that we also can't just let people off the hook because they're hurt, because we all have resources that are available to us, especially in this day and age, to be able to do something different, whether it's going into counseling, whether it's, getting more involved in your spiritual life. So just because you're someone who's hurt and may have dealt with, trauma in your life, you can't just hang your hat on that and say, well, this happened to me, so now I have a right to behave poorly. No, this happened to you, and it's really unfortunate that this happened to you. But if you really want to do better, there are things that you can do to make a difference in your life, and nothing should just resort to, because this happened to me, I'm going to be mean and hateful to other people. I definitely see how trauma can cause people to be bitter and could cause people to be spiteful and mean, but there's also a way out. You can make a change. You can make a difference. And so there was a point in time in my life where I would just kind of give people a pass when I knew they had been through things, but I don't do that anymore. Like, I will introduce them to certain resources. I will try to have conversations with them to try to work through whatever's going on. But if you're not trying to grasp that, if you don't want to participate in any type of healing, then I can no longer give you a pass.
The thing is, and this is what one of the things I say it quite a bit, and and I'll probably continue to say it. When do you stop being a victim? When do you get tired of being a victim?
Mm-hmm.
When do you move on from that victim mentality to being a victor mentality where, that happened then, that was what it was.
Thank you.
But now I have to do better. I have to be better. But some people love being in that, they talk about being in their misery, or misery loves company or whatnot. But some people love being in that. But you have to be at a point sometimes to say, you know what? I'm tired of being a victim. I'm tired of every time something happens. Oh, this happened to me. This happened to me. When do you move on from that?
Mm-hmm. And some people do become like professional victims, where that's their badge of honor. Like they feel like, because this happened to me and I survived this, then I have a right to do whatever I want to do because I'm a strong person and I had to endure this and I don't have it in me to be, kind. All of that, I've heard people say that, love and kindness has been stripped from them but there's always a way. You just have to be willing to do it. And it's a process and it can take time. Bitterness is real. I understand how certain situations and circumstances can make someone feel bitter. That's a real thing, but you have to be aware of it and willing to want to do something different. But again, some people just wear it as a badge of honor and just believe that because their life didn't go the way they wanted it to, and because they were treated in ways that aren't fair, then their redemption is now by being mean and hateful to other people. And that's not cool. Like they say, people who bleed on somebody who wasn't even the one to cut them. It's like, you take it out, because so many times that happens as well, that the people who caused you trauma, the people who are mean to you, the people who mistreat you, you either have never addressed that, you've never tried to do anything with them. Sometimes they're still in your life. There's people, who are still in relationship with, live with, married to, whatever, the people who are treating them the worst. But instead of dealing with that relationship and that situation, they just take it out on everybody else because that's where they feel safer. When you give someone a hateful past, however, it is devaluing yourself. Exactly. Yeah, that's my opinion as well. Because we weren't put on this earth to be mistreated and abused by anybody. And people don't deserve passes. I can't say this enough either. No matter what place they hold in your life, a title, somebody's birth order, the fact that maybe they gave birth to you, you still don't deserve that. And we need to stop giving people passes just because, oh, well, that's my mom or that's my brother. Yeah. No, you deserve to be treated with respect. You deserve kindness. You deserve empathy. You were not put on this earth to be misused and abused by anyone. Hey, Tori.
Yeah, like you're talking about Peach. You gotta place value on yourself. If this is just me. If I feel like you're trying to tear me down or something like that, I cut you off. I just won't even deal with you. And sometimes we gotta do family like that. I have a couple cousins who I kind of grew up with in certain deals, but they got to a time where like, okay, you want something that I'm not going to give you. I'm not going to sit here and let you just use me. So guess what? We just won't have a relationship. And that's where you got to be sometimes. Don't be afraid to cut somebody off because they're not helping you. They're not growing you. They're not doing anything for you. We talk about iron sharpens iron. I think too many times us as iron folks, we deal with too many sheetrock folk. If I was playing dominoes, I'd say something else. But we deal with too many people that are sheetrock in our lives. And iron sharpens iron. So you need to be more around people that are iron.
And one thing too, a lot of times when we continue to accept that bad behavior from people, we're just enabling them to continue that bad behavior. Yeah. Sometimes, and I know I've mentioned this in other lives when we've been talking about trauma and toxic relationships, the best thing you can do for both people is to separate, because maybe them missing your presence will be enough for them to second. But if you keep taking it, then they have no incentive to really change, because they're still able to have the relationship with you and treat you poorly. So why would they change? Sheetrock, yeah, he always talk about, iron don't need to be hanging around sheetrock people.
It'll do you no good.
Iron
like I say, eagles don't need to hang around chickens,
Right, yeah.
Eagles soar, chickens just kind of hop.
They hop. What is it called? The chickens do. People need to
kind of hop. That's it.
Yeah, and I'm to that point. And like I said, it was a lot of trial and error for me, I guess, for lack of a better phrase. But I went through a good part of my life being very confused about what to do with certain people who I did not feel were treating me properly based on who they were in my life. And I was worried about, well, what are people going to say if I don't have a relationship with this person? Or how is this going to look? Or how is the family going to look at me? Like I had a lot. So it took me years to choose me and do what I knew was right, because I knew I didn't deserve that treatment. And so I'm like, am I going to continue to be in this relationship because really I'm just afraid of how it will make me look if I don't? No, I'm going to be more concerned about how I feel. And so I am to the point now where no matter who you are, you have to earn a relationship with me. You have to earn access to my life. And when I say earn it, I guess I mean, really, you just need to earn the opportunity to keep it, because everybody deserves a chance. I don't need you to jump through hoops and bow down and kiss my ring to have a relationship with me. But once I give you that access to my life, you have to earn that position to keep it, because as soon as I realize that you mean me no good, now my cutoff game is strong, because again, I had to choose me. And I realized that I wasn't being the wife I needed to be. I wasn't being the mom I needed to be. I wasn't being the businesswoman I needed to be, the friend I needed to be, because I was continuing to entertain relationships that were toxic. And usually those toxic relationships are the ones that require the most of your time and energy and drain you to be able to enjoy the ones that aren't toxic, and even cause you to be in discord with the good relationships because they get tired of seeing you deal with it. And so then you're arguing with them like, I know, I don't want to hear about that no more. I know I need to quit letting them do this to me. I know, and so I had to finally just realize that it wasn't worth it. Let's see. It's so hard to put you in front of it's so hard to put you in front of expectations of others. Oh, I get it. I had to read it. Right. Exactly. And it takes a while to choose yourself, because you're so worried about what's expected of you and what it's going to look like and how they're going to feel. Boundaries need to be taught more in our culture. Yeah. Boundaries are so important. And again, people just don't know how to protect their boundaries. We teach obedience. Yes. Yep. And that's not cool. And we, end up with a lot of people pleasers, a lot of yes people. And that's how I feel like over time, mental health issues, and this is Mental Health Awareness Month, y'all, but mental health issues are on an all-time high. Deleting ourselves, those numbers are on an all-time high. And that's because I think people got so wrapped into what other people think, how I look to other people. What is this going to seem like to other people? And you have to be able to choose yourself, because then you won't be able to be there for anybody else. You're scared to let people down.
Scared to let people down. Being there
for everybody but you.
You have to be careful with that one, because people will use that to manipulate you. They'll prey on that. They're going to say yes, or they won't never turn me down on something like this. They won't do this. You got to be careful with that when people have those expectations on you. That's why I say sometimes you say no.
And those personalities are sometimes some of the strongest personalities, and they will tell you no in a minute and won't think twice about it. They are some of the most selfish people, the narcissistic personalities, but they will try to make you feel like crap if you say no to anything, or if you just disagree with them about anything. Like, they're really big on loyalty until the shoe is on the other foot. They want you to be loyal to them no matter what. They want to dictate who your friends are. They want to dictate who you date, who you hang around, everything based off of their opinion. But when they're living their life, they don't give a crap what you think. They're not consulting you about anything. And then when you do say something, then they want to start gaslighting you.
It took me a while to learn that, though, and growing up through life or whatnot. But I found out that they will manipulate you, and they'll always be the ones that say, hey, I need some money. Oh, I'm gonna pay you back. And they know you're going to give it to them, because you feel like you have to sometimes with certain relationships, whether it be family, trying to help family and things like that. But they don't respect you back the same way, because when you need them, you can't find them. Like you say, can't find them in the daytime with a flashlight. They will disappear on you. So that's when you get to a point, you say, you know what, this is not going the way it's supposed to go. So I don't need to be dealing with this. And it's like, so don't be afraid to say no. No, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I could be sitting on my couch, just enjoying my time. It's my time. And this is going to say, no, I'm good. I'm busy. I'm tied up right now. but it's my time, so I choose to do what I want to. Yeah, don't be afraid to say no.
Yeah, and don't feel like you have to give a reason. She said, me here, present, guilty people pleaser. Well, I hope you're working on no longer being a people pleaser. And sometimes, again, we get accustomed to our own bad behavior. So you have to be intentional about it. Narcissists will drain you of your mental well-being. And I was just going to say, Cece, am going to do a whole other show on a narcissistic personality, because there are things that you probably, wouldn't even realize that are the telltale signs of a narcissistic personality. And narcissistic people, they have very short memories, because they'll be the first ones to ask you to do this and that for them and want you to do everything. But then as soon as you say no, they'll be the first ones to say nobody ever does anything for them. Nobody helps them. So yeah, I am. Unfortunately, I have a lot of experience with that. So I can definitely do a show on that, and just the things to look out for, because narcissistic people are very cunning. And before you know it, you in this toxic web. Hey, how are you, Kelly? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Oh, you want that show too? I will. I know a lot about that. So maybe next Mindset Monday. Yes, ma'am. I've weeded them out and made my safe place home. Yeah, you have to take care of yourself. And the thing is, there are those people out there who deserve our time, our attention, our talents. And when we're letting these people who don't deserve it wear us out, then we're not any good for the people who do deserve it. I need to email you. Please do, CC. It's in the description box. So anytime. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, that's a great topic. Well, we're going to talk about it next week, y'all. Why I had a friend say that after I let her live in my house for over a year. See, that's what I'm saying. Don't be quick. Oh, you've never done anything for me. Nobody ever does anything for me. It's like, really? I don't have enough fingers and toes to count how many times.
Well, some people love playing that victim. So
yeah,
because they use that to their advantage.
Yep. And they will make up stuff. They will straight up lie about stuff and anything to, make you look bad as soon as you cross them. And cross them could be just as simple as just saying, no, I can't do that. Or just as simple as saying, no, I don't agree with you. And then it's like all HE double hockey sticks breaks out, because you only serve a purpose in their life. You're not valued. But I will save that for another show, because we done went down a whole rabbit hole. We started with blended families, but y'all know when you talking to me, I'm always going to end up talking about
it's really about what you guys might want to talk about.
Mental health, yes. And every comment or question can bring up a different subject, but all of that is still important when you talk about the family dynamic and making a difference. And sometimes, like, to kind of bring it back to the blended families, the blended family is where you do get that opportunity to make that change and to do something different. Because I know a lot of toxicity that I dealt with in my life, I may still be dealing with if I had not gotten in a relationship with Wallace and him helped me navigate that, and having that support in somebody who was able to look at it, who was close to me, but on the outside looking in at the same time, and be able to say, babe, this isn't right. But me knowing that no matter what happened as I created my boundaries, I still had his support. So it all still,
this piece right here is more important than anything else that's going on. So peace between us and us getting better and growing and being better people, being better parents, being better friends of our friends, being better business people. That's the bottom line on it. And all that other chaos and drama and stuff, don't have time for it. Don't have time for it. Life is too short.
Yeah, you have to be able to find your peace. I like that, emotional vampires. Yeah, and sometimes you just have to let those relationships go. Depending on, who the relationship is, how long it is. Yeah, it's always worth, trying to have a conversation. But if they're not willing to see the part that they play, if they're not willing to accept your boundaries, then, all you can do is deuces. It's been good. Oh, thank you, Cece. I appreciate that. Nuh-uh, not at all. There's no such thing as off target. That's what I love about what we do. I mean, of course, I don't want to come on here and pop up. Now, sometimes I do pop up here and don't know what I'm going to talk about. But most of the time, I at least want to have an idea. But it's about y'all and whatever y'all want to talk about. So there's no such thing at all as off topic, off target, going down the rabbit holes, it's fine. It's fine. As long as it ain't me who takes us down there, which is me sometimes too. But we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about as long as it's making an impact and we're helping and we're sharing. We can talk about whatever y'all want to talk about. And again, certain subjects are going to be overlapping and intertwined, because anytime you're talking about relationships and family dynamics, what is more multifaceted than that? Relationships and family dynamics are probably the most complex things on earth, right? Just dealing with people in different personalities. And I know,
is my head really that big?
See, there you go. Stop. But whenever that's off topic, yes, your head's really that big.
That big.
But the thing is,
must be this
what
lighting.
I tell you about that?
Must be this lighting.
He's doing that on purpose, y'all. I have scolded him about his little crazy comments that have nothing to do with what's going on. And now I can't remember what I was saying. Thanks, Wallace. Thanks. Hey, Living Out Loud. How are you, Miss Christine? So many of y'all are part of my blended family. Yes, and that's what I love. And that's the thing. Family has very little to do with blood. DNA does not make you family. In a perfect world, that would be the case. But that's what I tell people all the time. If you struggle in your family, create your own family. Identify those people who love and care about you genuinely, and be happy. Accept the love that you get and quit fighting so hard for the love that you don't get or are not going to get. It'll work out. It will definitely work out. It'll definitely work out. And I still can't remember what I was going to say. And I had something good to say. You're not at all. You're going to continue that same bad behavior.
I'm so sorry.
And the thing is, y'all, this is Mindset Mondays. He ain't even supposed to be up here. But I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and do our blended family topic since we weren't able to get on yesterday. So I invited him here tonight, and this is how he acts.
Did y'all like having me here tonight? I enjoyed being here.
They didn't. They did not enjoy you being on here. But I was going to say something, and I don't know if it's going to pop back in my head at all. But I don't know. Just more of the same. Just create your boundaries and don't be worried about other people's feelings more than yours. That's the thing, too. If you know that you have not intentionally sought out to hurt anybody and whatever, you do not. Cece's always co-signing for you.
That's my friend. Right
Switzerland. And Crooked Peace just said yes. I'm just gonna say yes. Whatever. Well, he won't be back. But I enjoy y'all so much. This is always so much fun. I love the dynamic that we have, and everybody feels free to share and, add to the conversation. I forgot to put the link in look, we got a couple of more minutes. I'm gonna put the link in here just in case anybody, y'all need to remind me of that. Yes, Cece, I saw it pop up. I'm gonna look as soon as we get off. I saw it pop up. But y'all need to remind me to put this link in here, because I be running my mouth and forget all about it. So please charge it to my head and not my heart. And don't ever think that y'all aren't welcomed up here, because I love seeing your faces on the screen and you sharing your input. Again, it's just the fact that I'm a talker, and this is what I do for a living. So it's just easy for me to get up here and talk and talk and talk. But don't ever think it's because I don't want you up here. So if you have something to say, just say, hey, Stae, where's the link? And I will stop immediately and put the link in there. Thank you, Peach. I appreciate you. And y'all make it amazing. And so also know too, that my email address is always going to be in the description box. So if there's something in particular that you want to talk about, or something you want me to research to do an episode about, I'm open to that. Because there may be something that we need to chat about that I didn't even think about. So always feel free to give me your suggestions, your comments, whatever. And then I always want y'all to remember that I'm available for one-on-one coaching. And so if you would like to get just, a whole 6-week session going, we can do that. Or if you just want one session, just don't ever hesitate to reach out to me, off of the podcast and all of that, because I definitely want us to be able to serve you all in any way that you need. And sometimes you have questions and situations that you don't want to necessarily discuss in front of everybody. And I respect that 100%, but don't ever think that you cannot reach out to me. We can set up a Zoom call and some sessions or whatever, because that's what I'm here for. And that's what I do. And that's my passion, is just to be able to help people be able to live in excellence and show up at their highest self each and every day. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate y'all. Did you have anything else, Wallace?
Just want to deal with the love seat a little bit.
Oh, okay, the love seat. He has the questions. Well, my daughter-in-law is calling me, so while you look for that, let me answer her question.
All right, now I have y'all to myself. No, just kidding. Hope you guys have enjoyed tonight. Like we said before,
it's both.
The hallway is mainly about us helping couples and things like that. Just be awesome, being the best they can be. We want to help encourage people to be the best partners they can be, the best parents they can be, just the best life, and live the best life you can. That's what it's all about. And like I say, we enjoy this getting on. We enjoy talking to everyone. Let me see. Can we come up with little questions here? Be nice when she comes back. Let me see here what we have.
Yeah. Hey, let me call you back. Like, are you out now looking? Oh, okay. Well, I'm gonna call you back.
All right. I am all set, and I just need my partner to run back here real quick.
All right, I'll call you back.
Okay, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. When you're expecting daughter-in-law calls, you gonna answer the phone, because usually she be on the live. So since she called, I was like, no, but she all right. She want to talk about dresses for the baby shower.
Okay.
I told her I'll call her back. All right, go ahead.
What was your first impression of me?
Oh gosh, my first impression of you. My first impression of him was that he was very square and nice, but not very stylish.
Oh, what?
I felt like his clothes was all too big.
Well, she met me during the big suit era.
No, and then his clothes outside of suits, all he either wore was like coaching clothes or khakis and a polo shirt, and everything was just like basic colors, like navy, black, brown, like no color whatsoever. He had
no color.
No, you didn't have any like bright colors. Okay. Everything was like neutral. And then see, you asked the wrong question. And then he had one of them phone clips for his phone on his belt. And yeah, he was just like, yeah, old man. Yeah, that was my first impression. But my impression was he was very nice, very smart, and a wonderful personality. So I definitely wanted to hook him up with a wonderful woman, because at the time I wasn't looking to be in a relationship, but I knew he was workable. And that's what I did. I just got him.
I was workable.
It was like Build-A-Bear, Build-A-Wallace. And I, got him together. Like, he used to have a completely clean shaven face and clean shaven head. So he looked like he was like 12. So yeah, I got him and whipped him into shape. And yeah, but that was my first impression of you. So let's see. What was this one? This was a great talk. I'm glad you were here. All right, y'all. Wallace can come back. Cece said, can I use Wallace discount code for a session? Yeah, he'll give you a discount code, Cece. He will. And that goes true for all of y'all. I'm gaining all kinds of nuggets to aid me in my journey in my latter life. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Babe, you're supposed to be saying, what's your my
impression? Yeah, I was letting you get through that.
Build-A-Wallace.
My first impression, you hear someone who's very, very confident and put together. That was one of the things that most attracted me to you was your confidence. I love your confidence. You're a beautiful person inside and out. And, I feel like, hey, here's somebody I can be with and will accept me. And we can do something wonderful together. And I just thank God for you every day.
Well, thank you. Why'd you have to be all nice? But that was
why true. Did I have to be nice? Y'all hear that? So that tell you what did that what was she?
But
being?
That was true. He knew that was true. Like, I said something like almost the first day. I was like, dude, what is up with that phone clip? Like, yeah.
It was her hand.
Yeah, right.
CC.
My hands, right.
That was the most attractive feature, CC.
Yeah, my hands. Anyway, you have another one picked out.
Let me see. Oh, what's the strangest thing you've eaten?
Oh, those bugs we ate when we were in Puerto Vallarta. I think that's the strangest thing because I ate crickets, ants. What else? I don't know. But yeah, the bugs we ate in Puerto Vallarta.
Okay.
What's the strangest thing you ever ate?
I guess it'd be those what they call Rocky Mountain oysters.
Oh, what? Isn't that like
bull? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I ate bugs. You ate balls.
You don't have to phrase it like that, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness, right? Why would you do that?
Just checking them out, seeing what they were.
Bull, yuck, yes. Oh, that is horrible. I can't believe you got on the World Wide Web and admitted that. No, yeah, I just ate some bugs, y'all. So, yes, Peach said, gross, Wallace. Ugh. Why would you do that? Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
They were interesting. Let's put it that way. They were interesting. Never do it again, but they were interesting.
We have a question from the daughter-in-love. What was your favorite thing to do in Hawaii? Well, of course, spend time with you.
Spend time with you and...
Yes.
And your crazy husband.
Right. Y'all say hello to my daughter-in-law. But besides spending time with you, my favorite thing was, I think, the hikes and walking, and seeing all the scenery. I absolutely love that. Like any walking through Hawaii and enjoying everything. What about yours?
Yeah, the hikes, the scenery, food's amazing. Like I said, just my advice for anybody that's traveling to Hawaii or anything like that, you got to get away from Honolulu and the tourist areas. You have to get up around where the locals go. We were fortunate to be on the North Shore and just eating what the locals eat and being there. And the food was unbelievable. And traveling, seeing the sights.
You have to rent a Jeep and take the top off and just ride down the coast.
Hawaii. It's like the island itself. It connects with you. Let's put it that way. And we just felt the connection. We had thought about still thinking about possibly buying some property, but it's hard to live there just dealing with the time difference. But definitely the number one thing that we did, favorite thing to do when we was in there was spending time with Pam and Kobe while we were there.
See what Cece said, my favorite thing to do in Hawaii, your daddy. That is horrible. Cece is crazy. Oh, Lord, the bottom just dropped down over here. Living out loud, these stories are loud, right? Oh, my goodness. Man. Cece is crazy. Sorry, I got distracted. Oh, my goodness. Y'all are crazy. Do you have any more questions?
No, I'm good. I'm good. Cece going to get us cut off anyway, so I'm good.
I love it. Well, tonight has been a wonderful, wonderful conversation. I'm so glad that Pam joined us on the tail end, but y'all know I got to jump off of here so I can call her back so we can discuss this wardrobe because we are getting ready for a shower, y'all. And of course,
count down to it,
yeah, I'm so excited. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Much love.
Yes, I will be back on thirsty for some knowledge. So we're gonna learn something on Thursday, and I'm definitely gonna try to catch y'all in the morning with Miss T. Y'all, I had 4 meetings today back to back. I think I was on Miss T's live for all of 5 minutes at the very end. But no complaints. We gotta have these meetings and do what we gotta do in order to keep this business thrusting and thriving. Mm-hmm. But I have been doing something before I get off to let all you gardeners know, and I don't even know if this is a thing, but I have a lot of fresh fruit. So I've been saving my seeds from my watermelon and my plums, and I'm just going to try to plant them somewhere just to see if the seeds out of the actual fruit will turn into anything. I don't know. So I've just been saving that because I have not I've never planted anything from a seed before since I was in elementary school. So even the times when I've tried to grow things in recent years, it's always been from the plants that have already started. So I just decided to do that. So I'm going to see. Y'all have inspired me to try to grow something.
This country boy says, yes, you can do that.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too. And he is very country, and he does our landscaping and plants, our flowers and all that stuff. But I just got fed up with trying to do fruits and vegetables. So I haven't tried that in a long time.
And also, is this week National Nurses Week, the whole week, or is it the month?
National Nurses Week, I think. Because this is Mental Health Month.
Right. Shout out to our daughter, Miss Brianna.
Yes.
National Nurses Week, I do believe. So we will make sure
she is.
If you have a nurse in your family, or a friend of someone's a nurse, I would say just post them on Facebook. Just shout out to them, and thank God for our nurses.
Oh, join the Texas team. Okay, I'll join the Texas team. I don't know if you want me on your team, but I'll join. Awesome live. Thank you so much, Deborah. Just do it. Say, I am. Don't make me come after you and Wallace. What we doing?
What we doing, J3?
Yes, okay, good.
Must be talking about
seeds. Seeds are on Thursday. Good evening. Yes, well, thank y'all so much. I appreciate and love each and every one of you. And y'all know the drill. Always be kind and always love one another. But don't forget to live your life. L-Y-F-E. Love yourself first explicitly, and we will see y'all in the next one. Bye. Oh, she has a daughter that's a nurse too. Okay, let me see. I'm coming for everyone in Texas. Oh, with the watermelons. Great topic. Have a great night. All right, thank you, and happy Nurses Week to your daughter as well. We coming for you, J3. I'm planting them seeds. On. All right, good night, y'all.
Living like a stage. Hey. 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 Love yourself first, explicitly. You overtook yourself to move with that energy. Empower your self-esteem. Self-love is king. That's the only way to win. That's how you empower your dreams.